All right, so now we're focusing on writing the second paragraph of the research design and rationale. So remember, the first paragraph dealt with the research method, which was either quantitative or qualitative. Now we're going to focus on the research design. Okay, now if your study is quantitative, you're probably going to use an ex post facto design, a correlational design, experimental design, or quasi-experimental design. Now, if you don't know what those are, then you should look in your research methods textbook. Okay? But by the time you come to this section, you should pretty much know what your design is. And if you don't know, then you should schedule an appointment with me if you're having difficulty, and we can figure it out pretty quickly. Yeah, we can go through that in about 30 minutes. All right, now if you're performing a qualitative study for your dissertation, you're using either action research, case study, ethnography, phenomenology, or maybe even grounded theory or some derivation thereof, okay, of one of these. And again, it's the same process. You define the characteristic of the research design, state the characteristic of your study, and then state the alignment between the characteristic of your research design and your study, and then confirm that the research design is appropriate for your study. And then you repeat steps B, C, and D for at least 3 characteristics. All right, so let's look at an example from an actual dissertation. All right, so they're using a cross-sectional design. So a cross-sectional design is another way of saying ex post facto. Okay. All right, a cross-sectional survey design, cross-sectional survey designs are composed of 3 core features. All right, so what this scholar did is they defined their research design and noted what the characteristics were, at least 3, in the first sentence. So, no time dimension, a reliance on existing differences rather than change following intervention, and groups that are selected based on existing differences rather than random allocation. Okay, and then they give a reference. Now, so they talk about these are the characteristics of the research design, which is cross-sectional or ex post facto. Now, all right, so after they talk about the characteristics of the design, then they talk about the characteristics of the study. The current study used random sample respondents from the population without any quotas on any unique characteristics related to the study or otherwise. That's the first one. Second one, additionally, no interventions. So this right here, this characteristic right here corresponds to the first characteristic. No time dimension, right? So here it says the current study used random sampling from the population without any quotas on any unique characteristics related to the study or otherwise. Additionally, no intervention was conducted before or after the data was collected. That aligns with the second characteristic. A reliance on existing differences rather than changes following an intervention. So there was no change in the intervention. Finally, this study observed differences in different groups at one time, and the groups that are selected based on existing differences rather than random allocation. Therefore, the cross-sectional design was the most appropriate design for the study. So again, list the characteristics of the design, list the characteristics of the study, and then say, hey, these match up, so therefore the design is appropriate for my study. It's that simple. Okay? All right. So write that, paragraph, and then you'll be done, and then we'll move on to the methods section. It's not methodology, it's methods. All right.